I want to inspire people to not only take control of their financial lives, but their futures in general. You've got to go get it. You got to go make it happen. No one's going to give anything to you. You can do it. And we are up here, Mr. Ferraro. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. You know, I just worked the whole day. So
yeah, I'm really concerned, as we were talking about earlier, about my fantasy team tonight. I think I'm going to start 0-3.
Oh no! Luckily, there's an extra game this year, though. So
yeah, that's the
makes
thing.
up for it.
Yeah, I'm only in a 10-team league, and the top 6 get in. So I'm not too concerned, because I still have that. Like 0-3 is not that bad to come back from if that's the case.
Too.
Yeah, exactly. But it's weird because I can't remember the last time I played in a 10-team league. Actually, yours was the last time. Yeah.
Was that a 10-team league?
Yeah, it was 10.
10 team because my buddy wouldn't join if it was a 12. That's
yeah,
right.
I remember I named my team Meals on Wheels after NWB.
Meals on Wheels,
and that was the team that won. He didn't know that. I just sent him the screenshot at the end of the year. He's like, "This is literally the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life."
I forgot you won that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah,
I didn't know a single person in the league. I don't even know how I ended up in that league, but I won it
by points. I think you bought a team that someone drafted. Was that how it went? Or
no, you were gonna sell my team originally because remember we had that issue on Yahoo where you had to set the time. But it said
I totally butchered it.
Yeah, I would have done the same thing. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But it was wild. But anyway, why don't you go on a little bit of intro about yourself, kind of who you are, how we know each other, just kind of like the basics to start off.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know each other from Nick.
Yeah.
He's a mutual friend of ours. I'm 28, born and raised in Rhode Island.
Not 30.
No, not 30.
Not yet.
Not yet. 2 more years, man. I would say I hope it goes by slow, but I know it's not going to, so it just speeds up as we get older.
Dude, same. I'm 25 and I'm thinking I'm legitimately gonna blink and I'm gonna be 40.
Yeah.
I was filming a video
it's
the other
crazy.
day and I'm just like, I'm literally gonna be 40 before you even know it.
Yeah.
And still have no idea what I'm doing with anything. Just like a potato trying to get through life.
That's not true, man. I mean, I always find we never give ourselves enough credit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just going by way too fast. That we finally figured out what they meant when they were telling us when we were younger. Life goes by too fast.
Dude, yeah.
Enjoy it.
Once you get out of high school, I feel like bang, 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 bang. Like everything just goes by.
Everyone's in a rush to get a license, and everyone's in a rush to turn 21, and then fast forward button.
That's
from
it.
there.
What else do you have to look forward to? 25? Like 30?
No. I mean, I guess you can rent a car at 25. Is that it? The first age? I think that's like the last milestone is renting a car.
I think you can rent it younger, right? But it's like an extra insurance.
I have no clue.
I just went. Listen to this. I just went down to Texas, right? I did that podcast with Max while I was down there.
Oh, nice.
And I got a rental through Turo. You know what that is?
No.
It's what Airbnb is, obviously, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like Airbnb for cars.
Okay.
It was an extra $120 because I was under the age of 26.
Oh, wow.
The car itself was $180, and I had to pay an extra $120 because I'm under 26.
Oh, man.
It was insane. I couldn't believe how dumb that was.
That's ridiculous. That's kind of cool that they do that, though, too, though.
The Airbnb for cars type thing?
For cars, yeah.
Yeah, it's no real issues. I thought it was cool other than the hubcap falling off the car. But it really wasn't that bad. I liked it because you can get all different cars. Like I thought about renting a Tesla. That would have been pretty cool, but I didn't do it.
Sick.
Yeah, I did think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But anyway, continue. Back to your story.
What was the...
Just like who you are, just your background.
All right. So 28, currently own foreign and domestic Autoworks in Johnston, Rhode Island. Been working on cars for about, I guess it's getting up to 12 years now, 11, 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I started super
That's
young.
crazy.
Man. I got super lucky. I showed an interest in it at like a really, really early age. Probably the first time I saw Fast and the Furious was how I got into cars.
Really?
I think I was like 9
That's
or 10
crazy.
years old. And then from there, like the internet was, just popping off and everything like that. And then Google came out. So I was just searching how to put underglow lights on Hondas and stuff like that.
Right.
Before I even knew what anything was. I just knew what I liked, knew what seemed cool. And yeah.
So you mentioned you recently opened your own auto shop.
Yep.
Why? What were you doing before that?
Working on cars. I mean, I always worked in some dealership. I bounced around quite a bit.
Yeah.
Couple reasons. I mean, each dealership, they offer factory training.
Right.
I wasn't lucky enough to go to college or have the funding to go to college. So
Yeah.
I was trying to think about other ways to learn the trade. And honestly, you can learn a bunch of it on YouTube alone.
Where did you go to college?
Where would I have gone if I could have gone to college?
Yes.
I'm not sure. Probably New England Tech.
I thought you were going to say that. I had a
Yeah.
friend that went there for automotives.
I knew a bunch of people that went there for automotive. So, I mean, that's probably where I would have ended up.
Right.
But I knew it wasn't even on the table. So,
Right.
Got factory training. And then my dad actually opened up an auto shop when I was, how old was I? 15 or 16 years old, I think.
Oh, wow. So you definitely had that experience for you.
Yeah. So then it was just, he opened the auto shop and I got my foot in the door there. And once that started happening, it was pretty much all she wrote.
Do you think that helped you with kind of what you're doing now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, half the knowledge I have now, or a good bit of it, is all from my dad's teachings.
Really?
And everything. Like, oh, yeah.
Now,
absolutely.
how much of the business side of things were you involved with that? Did you see kind of the X's and O's, like the play, like the kind of two-way chalkboard behind everything, or you just kind of like surface level, like mechanic?
Yeah, not at that time. It was just surface level mechanic, and in my early years, it was just straight up parts changing. Right. I didn't even know how these damn things work yet. Yeah. We're being honest, like no one does. You got to start somewhere. But in the dealer, I started seeing how the process goes, like from a dealer standpoint. Like you got the judge, the jury, and the executioner over there. You got the person that you talk to about fixing your car. You got the person that fixes it, the parts guys you have to order through there. So there's like a whole chain of things that the car process will go through in a dealership. And then you get to start to see like the business side of things.
Right.
I worked for a few independent shops. I liked it. It was awesome. It was really, really cool because you get to work on every year, make, and model there is.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not just one brand. Like if you go to a Kia dealership, it's just Kias. You go to BMW, it's just BMW. You know what I mean?
Right.
And all those techs are certified specifically for those brands.
Right.
So that's all they're seeing. At independent, you get everything.
Yeah.
Or whatever they specialize in as well. So it's cool. You learn a lot more in an independent shop than you would a dealership. But dealership, the flip side of the coin is you get their factory training on that manufacturer specifically, which is awesome. So dealership I probably stayed the longest in was Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram.
Really?
Yeah, I did about 2.5 years with them. 2 different dealerships too. Their training was awesome.
Yeah.
Like it was very, very thorough. They send you away. Some classes were like 3 days on just electrical systems alone.
Really?
Yeah, high voltage classes, mechanical, how the cars talk to each other using CAN bus now and everything like that. Bunch of stuff. They went into great detail there, and it was very hard to get certified through them. I didn't even complete the whole certification.
Wow,
you have to be there for like 5 years to
Seriously?
get through. Oh yeah.
Wow.
They usually don't even start sending you to school until you've been there for a year or so.
Really?
And they know you because they don't want to spend the money on you.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Because they're paying for your gas, they're reimbursing you for lunch, all that stuff, and they're paying you to learn their brand.
Right.
So that was kind of my option with it. So I would do factory training and everything. And me personally, it was always hard to work for someone. Like, I don't know what it was, but I mean, I guess it was probably like growing up, like with a single mother and everything like that. And just kind of having to grow up faster than you normally would. Mm-hmm. So naturally out of the gate, I kind of had like a problem with authority.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So working under people was always hard. So I always knew at the end of the day, I would always want to do something on my own.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, and I always knew that in the back of my head. So I'm getting all this factory training and everything, learning everything I can. And towards the end, I started getting into the service writer side of things, which is like the business and the books,
right.
How you sell the jobs, how the money comes in, paying the tech their hours for that job. And that was a really eye-opening experience.
I'm sure it was, because with business in general, it's one thing to have an idea. It's one thing to have, say, I want to open my own auto shop, let's say. It's another thing to really understand everything that goes behind it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
no,
all
absolutely.
those things that take to really get it set up. So how much time did that take you to learn all that stuff? And what did you have to learn, like, on the book side of things?
So on the book side of things, I mean, they make it pretty easy for us now. I mean, you got things like QuickBooks and everything like that. Like, you don't need the old school accountant.
Yeah.
Like I was so worried about like all the little shit that I was gonna have to do, like the books, the payroll, like this, that, the other thing, and it was like so minimal and like not a big deal.
Yeah.
It was like I don't even know why I was worrying about it. But yeah, I mean, I guess what I learned most in service writing was like how to talk to people. Like, which was very, very important. Like learning that people side of skills. You know what I mean? Because the car industry is a very sensitive subject. You know what I mean?
Why do you say that?
Because
I have an idea, but why do you, I want to hear your side.
Yeah,
of it.
no, absolutely, absolutely. And it's unfortunate because like the customers, they have a very fair point. There are so many shops out there that literally will rip you off or not fix the car correctly, knowing they didn't fix the car correctly, charge you for the job. You come back with the same problem a week later. Like, there's just a lot of technicians out there that, or shops in general, that just haven't done that level of training, but will still take on jobs that they're not familiar with.
Right.
And it's just a nightmare. So, I mean, that happens like all over the U.S. There's shops like that.
Have you seen that at any of the places you've worked?
Like firsthand?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I've seen a couple textbooks or some jobs. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Like intentionally?
Not intentionally, but more so the job went south, and it was like, get this out of my bay. I want the hours. Like, if it fits, it ships. Like, there's a bunch of like hack sayings in the automotive industry, and it's a shame, but it is true. So people like they think all mechanics are going to rip them off. You know what I mean? Or all mechanics aren't going to give them a fair shake, or whatever it may be, via bad reputation. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I mean, I guess that's how the bad name of the auto industry got out there, and that's just been happening for generations now. So my whole thing was like, I'm not going to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. I want my people to like take their cars to me, get them fixed the first time, give them a fair shake. And I was just trying to like figure out how I could actually do that. And the only real conclusion I came to was doing it by myself.
Yeah.
Like not having people under me.
Really?
Like I deal with the customers, I fix the cars, I talk to you, I do the whole shebang, and I don't have to worry about anyone else screwing this up.
Do you have any employees at all?
None.
No, it's just you.
I just employ myself.
Wow. Do you have any plans to bring anyone else on?
Not at the moment. I'm a firm believer in like when the time's right, and you'll just know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when that person comes along and like I see in that person that like they could handle this, but I mean it is also like some problems on my own end. Like I can't fully trust anyone to work on my customers' cars. Right. Now that they're like my customers and it's like my name on it and everything, the only person I want to trust with them is me.
Right.
I hate to say it like that, but at the same time, it's just. But on like a volume level, obviously there's more net income if you do have a team under you as well.
Right. It's just finding the right players on that team. That's the issue.
Exactly.
I know exactly what you mean.
And I'd rather chase the quality than the money right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like build a reputation, get good. People know I'm honest. Like all my customers have had a very good experience coming to me and everything like that. So, you know, just trying to make it work. And that was like my number one worry when I was thinking about opening. I'm like, can I do it by myself?
Right.
Like there is a lot of shit that goes into like cars in general, never mind having to add like the service writing part of that too.
Right. I would just be concerned because I feel like I'd have a question at some point and just need to ask someone.
Yeah.
If it was just me, I'd be like, oh shoot, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Well, obviously you've been doing it so long, you're definitely a lot more knowledgeable than I am because like I said before we started, I know absolutely nothing about cars.
Yeah.
A
lot of people don't.
Yeah. Do you think learning kind of like the ins and outs of a car is something everyone should learn?
I wouldn't say everyone needs to know it. I would say, I mean, do you remember driver's ed at all?
Vaguely.
Like you're supposed to know how to change a tire.
Yeah.
You're supposed to know how to check your oil.
Right, stuff like that.
You're supposed to know how to check your lights, stuff like that. Changing a light bulb has gotten way out of hand with these new cars. Like, dude, some cars you got to take the friggin' bumper off of.
No way.
Oh, I'm not
Seriously?
kidding. Like some headlights call for they'll be like, oh, can you change a headlight in my BMW? And I'm like, oh, absolutely. Like, how much do you think it's going to be? I'm like, well, the light bulbs alone and sometimes are HIDs. It's like $180, $120 bulb. Not to mention, I go to change it. Like the first one I ever did, I'm like, I can't get this damn thing out. Like, what the hell's going on? And I look up the procedure, and it's R&I bumper. Remove and install bumper. That's what R&I is in the automotive world. And I'm like, are you friggin' kidding me, dude?
That's insane.
So yeah, you got to pull off the whole bumper. And at that point, I'm just like, all right, let's do both bulbs.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're not paying me another.
Well, yeah, another $200.
Exactly. Like, spend the extra $120 so we don't have to spend 3 hours taking this thing off again.
How long does that take to change that?
It calls for like 2 hours. Yeah. I know I can do it in like an hour and a half, so I don't even charge my customers book time half the time.
Oh wow, that's nice.
I charge it what it takes me, which is about 1.5 hours. So looking at like $350 to $400 for one bulb. Wow. If we were just to do one bulb, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's insane.
But like back to what we were saying, like you should know how to do basic things on your car.
Yeah,
like everyone should. If you're driving a car and you get a flat, like most people call AAA.
Yeah,
like the amount of people that drive and don't know how to change a tire or even put air in their tire is pretty embarrassing.
I'm sure the majority of people don't, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, no. I have grown men coming to the shop asking me to put air in their tire.
Seriously?
Oh my God, it's ridiculous, man.
Like how frequent does that happen?
Not too frequently anymore because like my shop is tucked away, but when we were on the main road or at a dealership, every day.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
I guess I could see that because they're just thinking, oh, let me just pull in here.
Yeah.
And have some guy take a look at this.
Convenience, man. America's all about convenience now.
Right? Oh my God, isn't that the truth? Where did the name come from? Because the name, I think it's really good. It rolls off the tongue really
Really?
well. I think it's pretty good.
So
yeah.
I was like so self-conscious about the name. So I wanted to do foreign Autoworks.
Okay.
Like that's what I wanted. Like just foreign Autoworks. Like it sounds clean and everything. It's short. But I didn't want to like turn off my domestic clientele.
Right.
Because I do know Dodge, I do know Jeep, Ram, all them. I worked for them for a very long time. So I didn't want to like turn off like people if they looked on the Google or anything that are like foreign Autoworks. Oh, I have like a Jeep. I guess they can't work on it.
That's what I would have thought.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just thought like as a consumer, like looking through Google, thinking about a shop to go through and everything. So I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can like put the domestic in there too. But most auto shops are like Jay's Auto foreign and domestic.
Right.
You know, it will say it on the bottom. So I was like iffy about like making that the actual name. But I honestly really like it. I thought it came out good. It was hard getting like a logo around it, but we made it work. So
yeah. Now, did you do that all yourself too, or did you have help with that?
No, a kid named Garrett in Coventry actually helped me out with that. He was referred to me from one of my customers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we went back for like honestly a couple months trying to figure it out.
Seriously?
Yeah. And then I was just like, honestly, like short and simple seems better. At the time I was going to this gym, and the gym owner just recently opened up his business, and I was like, yo, what do you think about this logo? And he gave me some ideas on it too, and that's how I settled on the little rev meter. Yeah. I was like, oh, that looks sick.
That's funny. Max was saying when I was down in Texas, because originally sour strips, he was saying I was just going to call it strips. And then he came up with sour strips, and he was saying it was so simple, and he went on this long rant. But basically what I'm trying to say is when you hear the right name, you'll know it.
Yeah. Like no, absolutely.
And I think that is 100% right, and it's just weird because it doesn't make any sense, but at the same time, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I know exactly what he means, because you could write a board of 10 different names, 100 different names, and all of them might suck, or they might be like, oh, this one sounds okay, this one could work. But then you'll hit that one, and you're like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the play. Like, that's the call.
Yep.
But you were saying Fast and Furious got you into working on cars.
It got me into cars. It sparked the, I don't know, the gene that's probably tucked away in every male on this planet. But it just struck it. I just fell in love with them after that. It was.
How did you go from, I guess, liking the idea of cars to wanting to work on cars?
My dad's to blame for that one.
Yeah, he's the one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that love for cars sparked into wanting to drive cars, and I got into driving cars at a very, very young age.
Yeah.
It was probably 13, 14. I went on for my first ride around like a real road and everything with Dad. And from there it was. I probably shouldn't share some of those stories.
Cut that out. What's your favorite type of car to work on?
BMW.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Any specific reason?
They come apart, for one, especially in the Northeast. Like, nothing likes coming apart over here. You get an American car, like a old Ford, or even like, especially like Nissans or Hondas, places that don't have their own resources, heavy rot.
Really?
Like, think about like Japan or China or anything like that. Like, they're using very cheap metal, especially in the earlier years. And those, like, they just didn't hold up unless you like undercoated it or put like rust preventative stuff on it or something like that. Like, these chassis did not hold up. They rot. So a job that's supposed to take an hour might take 3 because you got to heat it. You got to a bolt breaks. You got to extract that bolt now. Like, it turns into a complete shit show quick with like rotted cars. BMWs don't really rot much at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they stay. German cars in general just use very high quality parts and metals and coats, and they come apart. And BMW just, I don't know. To me, they did everything right.
Yeah,
I like it a lot. They leak a lot of fluids, but other than that, they're great cars to work on. I like working on them.
Aren't they kind of hectic to own?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. You got to hate to love a BMW. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Unless you buy like one brand new from the dealer and you have like a warranty with it and a service package and all that shit they get you with when you buy a new car, they are expensive to own. Like if you have a 2008 BMW 3 Series, 5 Series, and it hasn't been maintained its whole life when people recommended those things to you at that time,
right?
They can get up there.
Because I feel like everyone I know that's bought a BMW has told me they regret buying a BMW.
Yeah.
Or most people do.
The only people that say they won't are the enthusiasts.
Yeah.
Like there's a huge BMW enthusiast family, like for a reason. Like they don't give a shit how much their car breaks or how much it leaks oil. Like there's a saying with BMWs, if it's not leaking oil, there's no oil in it.
Right. That's hilarious.
Yeah. But like you gotta hate to love them. Like that's literally what it is with Beamers. That's why the enthusiasts like them. Like, dude, I have more than 25 grand into my 04 330 out there. Like it's ridiculous, dude. It's a horrible like investment in money.
It just adds up over time. That sucks.
Yeah.
Now, opened your own auto shop. When did you decide you wanted to do that?
Probably like 3 years before I actually did it is when I started like toying with the idea, like I could do this.
Yeah.
Like I think I can do this. Like I already had a clientele base just on side work alone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like jobs I would do after work. And then I was like, I can just build my own clientele base from there and everything like that.
Right.
So might as well jump into it. And at the time I was actually working at Volkswagen.
Oh yeah.
When it happened, I was service writing there. Which was a crazy job. It was really, really cool, but the dealer had you by the balls if you service right.
Really?
Anyone listening to this that service rights knows in a dealership that you're in there at like 7 a.m. Sometimes you don't leave till like 6:30. Yeah, no, it's rough, man.
That's insane.
And then there's like alternating shifts, so you'll have like a long day one day, and it's a pain in the ass. The dealer gets you by the balls. They always want something for nothing. It was just not the life I wanted to live. There's great money in it, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But they get you.
Is that part of the reason you think you really got driven towards starting this? I know you mentioned like other things you always wanted to do something just like yourself on your own. But do you think working that job really said, okay, it's time for a change?
Yeah. No, I think that was it for me because I didn't really want to. The real kick of the balls was service writers. Like I was making more as a service writer than I ever did as a tech.
Really?
And it blew my mind because I'm sitting there in AC talking to people selling jobs like in clean.
Yeah.
And the guys in the back with no AC are grinding their bones away.
Yeah.
And like the person up front's like clearing more than you, unless you like have a good hours because you're flat rate or whatever. But
Right.
It was just like, really?
Yeah.
Like it just seems so ass backwards to me. But whatever, that's how it goes there.
Now, talk to me a little bit about the process of getting it up and running and starting it. Like, what was your first plan of attack? Because you could have gone in probably 100 different directions when you're first starting, like just start from the jump. How did you decide, I want to start here, then I'm going to go there, then I'm going to go here and there and over here, and then eventually here we are today?
So there wasn't much looking. At the time, my stepfather was running a Hobby Lobby. He had a full-time job and everything, but he had a Hobby Lobby over in Johnston.
I have not heard that.
It's
From
like
too many people. I know what it is. I just don't know.
I'm saying Hobby Lobby. I meant Hobby Shop.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
okay.
I totally
All right.
butchered that. Hobby Shop. And it was basically just his spot to like work on antique cars,
Right.
Restore them, do all the stuff that he likes to do after hours when he's working. And me and my stepfather, we always talked a lot and everything. And I was fiddling with the idea like, hey, like I'm thinking about like going on my own, yada yada yada. And he's like, dude, like do it. He was like, you can use the shop, the hobby shop during like normal business hours, like 9 to 5 and stuff like that. And then we could see how it goes and everything. And then it got like a little real. I was like, oh shit, like
This is actually happening.
like can I do this? Like yada yada yada. And he already had an air compressor in there, like a little lift and stuff like that. So he was like, use it, get on your feet. And he was like, see what happens. And I was like, all right. And couple months later, ended up telling the dealership I'm gonna like leave in a couple months because I'm gonna start doing my own thing and everything like that. And I went there, and then like the first day I was like, holy shit, like why did I do this? I just like gave up a good job.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like looking at like this dungeon of a shop. there was like stuff coming out of the walls, dude. It was really rugged, and I'm like, oh my god, like this is crazy. But like my whole attitude during the whole entire thing of it was like, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, right. You
like
go back.
I fail
Like, yeah.
and like I go get another job doing what I know how to do.
Yeah.
Like who gives a shit? Like it doesn't matter. So yeah, I mean I just kind of jumped into it, brought my tools over, got some jobs and just started cracking away.
Yeah.
The rest of the process was like pretty easy. For the first like 3 or 4 months in that location, it was a little like illegitimate, but I mean we had to move out of there anyways. The problem was zoning. It was like in a residential area. And they weren't going to zone it.
Yeah.
And it was going to cost like $7,000 to like go on a board to get it zoned just for them to tell us they weren't going to zone it.
That's insane.
So we were like, all right, well, crap. So started looking at other places and everything like that. And it wasn't going to get zoned. We had to move. I'm not on Facebook. I like despise Facebook. So
Really?
Yeah, dude, I don't mess with it.
Is that a Zuckerberg thing?
No, absolutely not. It's just more like an attitude thing.
Yeah.
Like I scroll on Facebook and it was just like constant negativity and like bullshit ass news.
Honestly, not a bad idea. If
Like,
I was,
it was.
go ahead.
I saw some articles on like Facebook and everything, and they look legit and everything like that, and I'm like, holy shit, like what the hell? And then like I'll fact check it and it's just complete. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, so, I don't know. I was just reading a bunch of false information thinking it was true. At the time, it was like the whole Trump thing, like when I deleted it and everything. Like, he was coming into office and all that stuff. I'm not political at all. I don't even, like, favor a party or anything like that. But I was just sick of fucking reading it. Like, and plus the constant negativity that's always on there and everything. So I was just like, you know what? I don't, like, need this in my life. And, like, the worst part of it was I knew it was like that, but yet I would check it every morning.
That's the thing. It's so addicting.
Like, it's so addicting. Like,
did you ever watch The Social Dilemma?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I did.
I got to watch it again. But it's like eye-opening, like really how like they make it so you spend more time on there. It's crazy.
And like that was like what was blowing my mind. And like there was a couple times I got into like things with people on Facebook, and it actually like affected my day. And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, why do I even like give a shit about like
that's what I mean.
Whatever. Like
sometimes I'll take my phone out of my pocket and I'll say, let me just take a quick peek at this. And before you know it, 30 minutes goes by and I'm on some random person's profile I've never spoken to before. I haven't spoken to in 10 years. And I'm just like, what? Like, how did this happen?
You
like,
go down rabbit holes, man. It's crazy.
It's absolutely insane.
It was honestly the best move ever. I don't miss it at all.
Yeah.
Like, even a little bit. What I do miss is Facebook Marketplace, though.
That's pretty convenient, yeah.
Because I was looking for places I couldn't find friggin' anywhere. Step Pops was like, I found this spot, dude. Like, maybe we should go check it out. So we went down and we checked it out. It's 1,800 square feet. In a wicked location though. It's on an industrial like way on 295, like where the landfill is and everything. Bunch of semi trucks. The road wasn't great, but it was a great space for a good price.
Right.
So we ended up moving over there.
And how long did that move take?
Not too long, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it was only like 2 miles away from the other spot.
Oh yeah.
So we just moved all the shit over there and everything, set up the lift, got some new lifts for it and all that. And the plan in the beginning was to go business partners with my stepdad. Mm-hmm. Long story short, doing things with family is like kind of tough. It's on the tougher side.
Right.
So we just realized it was best for us to, do our own things.
Right.
So now we split the shop. I do my LLC and he does his whole like restoration thing.
Right.
And he has an amazing act for that.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, welding, restoring, like.
What does that process look like? That I have really no idea about.
That I have zero interest in. It is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's some tedious shit, man. You'll walk out of the shop smelling like metal.
Oh
like,
my God, that
just
sounds
like
crazy.
blowing out like black shit out of your nose. Like
that does not sound good.
He's
for
a
your health.
mad scientist though. Like when it comes to like welding and like restoring stuff and building these crazy projects, like the dude is insane with it.
Really?
It's so cool to watch. But we just realized it was best for me to run my LLC and him to do his hobby shop thing.
Yeah.
So we ended up splitting it right down the middle. And then from there, the rest of the process was pretty damn easy. I called the fire department. They came down, did a fire inspection, looked around. He was like, yep, looks good, signed it. Same thing, once you get the fire inspection, get it zoned. So I got it zoned, walked down to City Hall, went to Johnston. I was like, hey, I need a business license for this location. They got me on the town board meeting. It was Corona then, so I had to like show up on like webcam and everything. They approved it, wished me luck.
Oh, you opened this during COVID.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I thought you had this for a few years.
I missed that. So I moved into that shop 1.5 months before COVID dropped. Wow. Talk about timing.
Yeah. How did that affect everything?
It was better for it.
Really?
Oh yeah. People like had time. They were like, oh, I can finally get my car fixed.
Wow.
And then
I would have thought the exact opposite. I would have thought people aren't going anywhere.
No,
so there'd
like
be less problems.
after like it died down a little bit and everything like that, like there was a lot of people out there that were like totally not believers. You know what I mean? Like there was a lot of them. I'm sure you know a bunch of them as well that still are.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was more so just like time off for them and chilling. You know what I mean? So they got their shit taken care of, the cars taken care of, and it's not hard to keep myself busy, especially with big projects, and that's what I was getting. I was getting engine jobs. I was getting engine rebuilds. Like, I was doing these big projects in this little dungeon of a shop.
Yeah.
Just to, like, keep it paid and keep the things going, and I was able to do that. I was able to, pay the rent and pay my bills, and it was working, so just kept rolling with it.
Are you still in that shop?
The little dungeon?
Yes.
No, we're in that 1,800 square foot building
That's
now.
what I meant. Yeah, that's what I meant. That one.
Yep, still there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you have any plans to move anytime soon?
I have been thinking about it.
Yeah.
I have been thinking about it. I want to get into like just a better location because I work on a lot of high-end cars. Like a lot of BMWs and Mercedes come rolling down this road, and these friggin' semi-trucks, man, they like kick up rocks at them. Oh, dude, it's like so embarrassing. Like I wouldn't want my customers going down that road anymore. They don't mind, and none of them have ever complained, which is like really surprising to me. luckily nothing bad has ever happened either, though. Too.
Yeah, that's right. It only takes one, and then you're always paranoid about
exactly.
it. Which really sucks.
But as a business owner, like, you don't even realize how these things creep up on you. You get like a whole different way of thinking, and you don't even realize it's happening.
Right.
Like, once you actually do it, and like you're looking at things from like the grand scheme of it, it's like you start seeing shit a lot differently.
Right.
Like more than you ever did as like a regular employee.
Really?
Yeah, and it just comes naturally. Like you'll just start thinking that way.
Like, do you have a different example besides that like rock example you were just talking about things that are just like running through your mind that this could happen even though it's never happened, it might not ever happen?
I try not to worry about the shit that like I can't control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of just a waste of space in my head.
Right.
So I don't like worrying about stuff that's like completely out of my control. I only can control what I can control.
Right.
And that's
yeah.
like the quality of work and what I do. So I mean, I kind of just roll with it like that. But
where would you want to move to? Do you have any idea, or you just have the idea that you want to move?
I have found like one place that I was really liking. Probably closer to my house a little bit, North Providence.
Gotcha.
It's on a main road too, so natural more revenue coming in and customers coming in wanting their cars fixed and all that
More
stuff.
people wanting to change the tire.
Yeah, that is the other thing though too. I'm gonna see some more grown men that want air in the tire.
Especially now, is that hard with just you because you don't have, say, little Johnny or little Susie to say, all right, go change the tire for him. Like, you have to actually take time to do that, right? Which kind of sucks if you're working on a much bigger project that needs your attention.
Yeah, but at the same time, it is what it is. Like, I try to schedule my stuff like as good as I can.
Right.
Like, I don't know. Like, if you bring your car in for a check engine light, like, I don't know what it's gonna need until I look at it.
Yeah.
Like, it could need a valve that takes 10 minutes. It could need an oil pump that takes 14 hours.
Yeah.
Who knows? Like, I don't know.
Right.
So it's hard to like manage that, but as I do, like as I get into these cars, as I start diagging them and fixing them, I just try to manage my time correctly.
Right.
So it's a lot easier with two lifts.
Yeah.
Because you can have like a project going and then like a quick in and out. I try to stay away from like the lube side of things, like the Jiffy Lube side of things, like just an oil change place like that. I'm like not really that guy. I do it for all my customers that come to me normally. And I'll do it for like other customers that like want to get their foot in the door too and get their car inspected and stuff like that, checked over. But I'm not like a high, like in and out lube shop.
Right.
I'm more so like, actual repairs, diagnostics, wiring, electrical, all that stuff.
Now, someone comes in, right? They
Yep.
check engine lights on.
Okay.
How long does that take for you to diagnose that problem and figure out what it exactly needs? I know it's probably going to depend, but
Yeah, no, it definitely varies. On average, realistically, about an hour.
Yeah.
About an hour to an hour and a half.
Gotcha.
Like today, perfect example today, I had a 2012 Volkswagen Golf come in, check engine light was on. It's been to two other shops. No shop could tell him what was wrong with it or whatever. I don't know why.
Probably didn't look at it.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like they were just giving this poor kid the runaround, and this kid doesn't know anything about cars, so he's like, "WTF? Why can no one fix my car?" Like,
How old is the kid? About.
probably my age.
Yeah.
He looked around my age. Yeah,
Gotcha.
28, 30-ish.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know why I didn't even fix my car. He's like, please help me. Like I was referred to you by my aunt. And I was like, yeah, dude, bring it down. Let me see what's going on with it. He had a check engine light on. I pulled the code. It's got a P0455, and all engine codes have like that little series of P0 whatever.
Right.
And in this case, it was an Evap leak. So the Evap system in a car, as short as I can explain it, is basically how the car recycles the fuel vapors.
Okay.
Because the federal emissions doesn't want fuel vapors just going out into the world and
Right.
polluting everything, right? So it says that the system's leaking. There's a sensor in there that monitors pressure, and if it doesn't reach a certain pressure, then it will say the system's leaking. So you have to check it, and the engine light will come on for that.
Right.
He had another complaint though, and this was like the key to it. He said, every single time I fuel up, my car is like a crank no start. So you just go to start it and it just goes ching, 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 ching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, so I know from experience, because I fixed this problem so many times, what it was. So I wasn't going to give the kid the runaround or anything like that. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's this valve. Let me just smoke test it real quick, see what we find there. Sure as shit, this valve's stuck open. And what it's doing is it's allowing fuel vapors into the engine, unwanted. It's a naturally closed valve, and this was open.
Gotcha.
So every single time it fuels up, the fuel's trying to vapor in, but it's just loading the engine with more fuel vapors.
Right.
So now it can't like crank. It doesn't have the right air-fuel ratio to start.
Gotcha.
So that's why, and then he said it like putts and stuff, and then it will clear up. So I knew it was that. Replaced that valve. Took about an hour and a half total. Ran the evap test, passed the test, and light was off.
And that was it.
That was it.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Was the kid like super appreciative?
He was like, dude, what?
Probably
Like he's like,
you're
I've
God.
literally got the runaround so many times.
Yeah.
And then someone stripped his oil pan, drain bolt, so no one would do an oil change on his car. So I just replaced the oil pan. That no one wanted to do that job either. I don't know why. Very straightforward job.
That's crazy.
But it just like it was blowing my mind. But either way, the kid was ecstatic. And yeah, so that's a small example of a check engine light, I guess.
Huh, that's interesting. What's do you have a story about one that's maybe taken a little bit longer than an hour and a half, where you actually had to dive into it a little bit
Like
more?
a nightmare story?
Yeah.
Oh, where do you want to start?
I don't know. What do you want to
Oh my
end? That's
God.
the real question.
All right. Not with a check engine light. I mean, I've had plenty of nightmare stories with check engine lights,
Right.
but one of my worst nightmare cars was this friggin' pile of crap 2004 like 40 Econoline van.
Oh man.
Like the rape vans, free candy kids,
Yeah.
like those vans. So to service these, you can get to some of the engine under the hood, but most of it's like literally right where you're driving. Like if I'm driving here, the engine's like right here.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
That sounds like a pain.
They call it a doghouse.
Yeah.
So then you like unclip it and you take it out of the car, and then boom, the whole engine's right there.
Yeah.
And I was changing spark plugs. Okay. And to get the coil out, I had to use a little 7mm socket.
Okay.
All right. So I take the spark plug out and everything. My socket fell off my ratchet after I already had the spark plug out of the engine. And I'm like, where the did my socket go? And I'm looking everywhere and I'm like, what the like, where the hell did this thing go? It couldn't have dropped anywhere. And then like I looked down the hole and I didn't see anything. And I'm like, yo, tell me this socket fell into this little hole and is sitting in the engine right now. I can't start this truck. If I start this truck with the socket in there,
Bad things.
it's going to smash the valves, it's going to bend the valves, and you're going to have a permanent skip on that cylinder. What's going to need to happen from there is the whole entire cab of this truck will need to come up,
Oh my God.
expose the engine, take the cylinder head off the engine. It's like a 38-hour job.
Yeah.
If it was in there. Luckily, we had this thing called it's like a scope.
Yeah.
It's like a little camera with like a string like this on it, and there's like a little camera at the end of it. So I stuck it down the hole with a flashlight. Sure as shit, there's the socket sitting right on top of the piston. It was about 10 a.m. when this happened.
Oh my God.
Middle of summer, 98 degrees, hot as hell in the shop. I'm in this doghouse with my shirt off for probably 6-7 hours.
Wow.
Trying to get it with a magnet. So I had like a flexible magnet and I kept like pulling the socket up to the hole. But every single time I tried to get the friggin' socket out of the hole, it would hit it and then fall right back in. I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like, it was like a bad experience. Like, I was like actually panicking. Like, plus it's hot out.
Yeah.
So like I'm
That doesn't help.
sweating,
Yeah.
like sweating profusely, like just dripping, leaking. So one of the kids I was working with at the time that my stepdad had employed there as well was this kid Matt. And I had the socket to get on the magnet, and I'm sitting at the hole. I'm like, and I just thought about, I'm like, yo, Matt, get it, like turn the crankshaft for me. So the crankshaft, it moves, and then it moves the pistons up.
Right.
So my thinking was, I'm going to hold this socket here. The piston's going to come up and then push it out of the hole.
Yeah.
He found the right, I'm sitting there holding it for like 30 minutes for him to like find the right
Oh my
socket
God. I
and
would
the ratchet. And I'm just like, oh, like, don't fall. He comes over there. He turns the crank. The piston comes up, pushes it right out.
No,
I'm
man.
like, oh my God.
You must have been so relieved.
Oh, so relieved. You have no idea. Got the car back together. Ran great. Out of the
Oh
shop.
my God. Did you tell the owner of the car that story?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, what'd he
Oh, he
say?
had to know.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, God bless you. I mean, what is he going to say? Like,
Yeah, right. Oh my
sucks
God.
to suck, kid.
That's insane.
I was like probably 18 at the time, 18, 19.
Oh, so this is a while ago.
Yeah. It's about 10 years.
Really took 6 to 7 hours to get that thing out.
Easy. Whole day.
What if you couldn't get it out? What is the next alternative? The whole 38-hour job thing?
Yeah.
That's the
No,
only
that's it.
other
Cylinder head's
alternative.
coming off.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I would not want to do that.
Not only do like I said, you literally take the whole cab
Yeah.
off these trucks to get
That's
to the
crazy.
engine. Like it has body mounts, and then you lift it, and then the whole engine and everything you disconnect from the cab, and then the engine and chassis stay.
Yeah.
And then so you're just staring at like literally a chassis with the wheels on it, an engine and a
God.
transmission.
Are those your least favorite type of cars to work on?
Yeah, I did not like working on those. Yeah, no, I am totally a modern car guy. Like
Yeah.
I like compact cars. I don't mind pickup trucks at all either, but
Right.
like I like my BMWs, I like my Audis, my Volkswagens, all those,
Yeah.
Toyota, Lexus. Like I like working on cars and SUVs and all that.
Yeah. Any particular reason why? Or just because they're easier?
They're easier for me to get around it, and like that's what I came up with too.
Yeah.
So like I'm naturally more comfortable around that stuff,
Right.
and most of my tools are all based around like the modern car more so than heavy duty stuff. Granted, I have all the tools to work on those Econoline vans and everything like that, but if I can get the volume of working on the cars that I prefer to work on, I definitely would rather do that.
Right. Now, talk a little bit about, so when you first go back to when you first started learning about how to work on cars, where did you start to learn in that process? Because obviously it's a very, elaborate puzzle working on a car. It's not like a one-size-fits-all type of thing.
Yeah,
So
no,
sometimes
absolutely
you'll have horror stories like that. So where did you initially go to learn to really start learning the ins and outs of different cars?
At my stepdad's shop when I was young. So
That was
basically what happened was I actually didn't even end up graduating from EWG.
Really?
Yeah, I left halfway through junior year.
Really? Wow.
My stepdad had the shop. I was working there anyways. I was getting in trouble a lot at school. And whenever I wasn't in school, I was at the shop as punishment. I was in heaven. But so then I ended up actually signing up for this Penn Foster High School, which is basically homeschooling. And I ended up getting my high school diploma all throughout there, transferred all my credits from EWG to this homeschooling system. And then I would work at the shop during the day, and then I do my school stuff at night.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, so I ended up graduating around the same time as everyone that I would have naturally graduated with, but I wasn't in school for graduation. It was all online. Like, I had to just write an essay and all that stuff, do the senior project all through online, submit it, teachers review it on Penn Foster, and then they make sure everything's good. If you passed, yada, 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 same thing.
How much further ahead do you think that got you into learning?
Oh my God, insane. It was the best move I ever did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I was getting so much for it too. Like, what are you gonna be, like a loser and not finish high school and everything? I'm like, I'm finishing high school. They're like, yeah, but you're cheating it. And I'm like,
it still shows up the same way in 10 years.
I'm like, whatever. I was like, we'll see.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, my whole energy, like, I guess throughout the whole entire career since I started working on cars was just grab the bull by the horns and ride it.
Right.
Like, don't be scared.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just how I lived it since like this moment today, and it's all worked out, man.
Do you still learn like things to this day?
Oh my
like
God, I
on the
learn
fly?
every day.
Like, do you ever
Never stops.
Do you ever get like a problem with a car that you're like, I have legitimately no idea how to solve this?
100%.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I have a friend, Andrew Sullivan, who works at BMW and Skip, and he'll tell you I annoy him all the time with shit that I haven't seen before. I'm like, dude, what is this? I'm like, sometimes I'll really get boned because there'll be like certain codes in cars, and I'll have zero information on it.
Really?
Like you can't fix a problem if you don't have information on it, if you haven't dealt with that problem before. You know what I mean? If I don't have a wiring diagram, I can't see what's going on unless I automatically know how that system works in my head. I'm not going to be able to fix it because I don't have information on that. I have to like call my repair manual and say like, hey, can I get info on this car, on this code? So sometimes you just have to use like your intuition to fix shit.
Really? You have to actually call to get that information?
Yeah.
It's not on like Google or
anything.
anything.
It's crazy too for what I like pay for shop software and repair.
That's
like,
insane.
yeah. Oh my God. It is.
So you said software. Talk to me a little bit about the software you use for this, because when I was talking to Nick about this the other day, and he says you use some sort of specific type of software.
Yeah, so I use Mitchell. Very, very common in the automotive industry. There's a few like top 3 people like for auto. I use Mitchell. The reason I use them is because they have Pro Demand, which is basically like a huge like network. It's a huge repair manual is what it is.
Right.
Like I can see TSBs, which are technical service bulletins, like released from the manufacturer, like on certain problems, like say your door squeaks.
Right.
Like I might be able to just type in door, find a TSB, like customer complaint, door squeak, how to remedy it. It's basically a quick fix on your complaint that the manufacturer released. I can see fluid capacities, wiring diagrams, all this stuff, and it integrates with my manager.
Right.
So like when I log you into the system, write you up for an oil change, all that stuff, I can just hit quick links, boom, it takes me to all the repair information, all the stuff I need to see to fix and service your vehicle.
Really?
Yeah. It's an awesome system. What customers really like about it is the multi-point function. So like usually when you go in for your car, you get like this little paper when you leave, and it's like red, yellow, green, and it shows you what's wrong with your car, what needs immediate attention, etc. And mine's all virtual. So I do literally everything right from my phone. I can like show you the app. So it's like this little, it pulls up.
Okay.
And then I just go right through it as far as like wipers, oil, anything that's wrong with your car. I can take pictures of it. I can just attach it right there.
Really?
And then before I even like, so if you brought your car in for an oil change, like I did, like that kid did today, I go through his car completely, check suspension, brakes, everything, diag it, figure out everything that it needs. I put it together in that multi-point, and then I email it to you. So now you're just sitting there at your house, boom, oh look, I got Nick's multi-point from looking at my car, and you're just literally looking at everything. You can see everything.
Wow.
And customers really respond well to that because like they can see it, they're starting to understand it. They ask me questions about it, like it's just right there. So now like the ball's kind of in your court, like you know the severity of the items that are wrong with your car. Like, what do you want me to quote for you? Where do you want to go from here? And they usually tell me, and I'll send them back a quote, and they'll let me know to do the repairs or not.
Right.
So it's just a very smooth, fluent working system.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is expensive, especially for someone that runs a one-man band.
Yeah.
So
Worth it though?
Yeah, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth it for sure.
Now, there's a lot of dealerships out there. Aside from, like you were saying, give everyone a fair shake, what separates you from someone else?
Mostly the personalized experience.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very, very personal experience. Like, when you deal with me and you bring your car to me, like, you're getting my personal number. Like,
really?
yeah.
Wow, a lot of places don't do that.
This is my business line.
Wow.
My iPhone is my business line.
That's insane.
I run my whole shop off this.
Really?
Everything.
Huh.
It's even listed on Google.
Wow.
Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, no, it is. And it's just very personal. Like I said, like when you deal with a dealership or most independent shops, you're dealing with the judge, the jury, and the executioner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like a whole 3-step up. And half the time the person that you're talking to doesn't know their ass from their elbow about cars. Like they have basic knowledge, but if you just ask me how if you ask a service writer how an evap system works, like a lot of them aren't going to know the answer to that question.
Right.
But the tech who does know the answer to that question, you never get to talk to.
Right.
You never get to talk to a tech.
That's crazy.
You never get, like, if you want to talk to a manager, you got to go through hoops. Like, so you're always dealing with me. Like, I sell you the job, I fix your car. Like, it's just always just my hands are on everything.
Yeah.
So you never have to worry about like misinformation or anything like that. And I'm also a foreign tech. Most foreign shops are anywhere from 130 to 160 an hour. I'm like way down the low at 100 because I don't have to employ a whole shop of dudes and keep them busy all day or anything. Like I know realistically like $100 an hour is way more than fair for a foreign tech.
Right.
And it's cheaper than everyone else.
Yeah.
And I have 100% quote guaranteed beat. Like if you get a quote somewhere, like I'm 100% guaranteed to beat it no matter what.
Do you think that helps you a lot?
100%.
Yeah, I would think so.
Oh yeah, because shops like I said before, like the reputation, like I get a lot of like bills from shops and it's like highway robbery.
Yeah.
It's like $1,500 to $2,000 overquoted.
Wow.
So like shops don't even realize like they're almost doing me a favor when they do that.
Yeah.
Like I'm never gonna like burn someone to the point of like that's ridiculous. Like I don't believe in that. Like it's just not my thing. Like I'd rather be able to afford my overhead like fairly and everything.
Right.
Be fair to you. Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than anywhere else you're gonna go. I can still make money off of it. I can still pay all my bills and stuff like that, and you're out the door happy.
How do you plan on growing the business? Because I'm assuming you really want to grow it to more than what it is now.
I'm not sure, honestly. Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Like I've never been like. I'm so passion driven, man. Like I like working on cars.
Yeah,
like
I can tell.
I'm gonna be like pissed off the day I don't have to work on a car. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't want to work on cars every day of my life. Like, there's plenty of days I wake up and I'm just like, not today, fam.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. But like the majority of the time, I really do want to do it. It's like I've never been like I didn't open the business saying like I want to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like it's never been about that. I wanted to open a business to be able to support myself and help people.
Yeah.
Like and do what I love to do.
Yeah.
That's it. That was my only motive. Like I never like thought like I don't want 2 Lamborghinis or Ferraris or everything. It would be dope as hell, but
yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. I'm not like worried about it. I'm happy.
Do you think you're a lot happier now owning your own business as opposed to doing what you were doing before?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the grass is greener on any side, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But at the same time, it's like I have my own freedom. Like my fate's in my hands. I don't have to worry about a parts guy fucking up my job and now I'm screwed for that week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or someone that pissed off a customer on the front line, so then I don't want to do my job. Like they don't want me to do the work on their car anymore because they dealt with a service writer and they didn't like them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was just a lot of things that like, and I really just didn't like working under people. Like there was a couple bosses I really, really liked. The last guy I worked for at Volkswagen, awesome service manager. Oh yeah, coolest dude ever. I honestly never met anyone like him in a dealership before.
Really?
Yeah, no, he was cool. Bill Lancelota, he's over at Volkswagen of Belize.
Was he like loyal? Was he like what made him like so awesome?
He was just straight up. Like he was just no bullshit, true, like never like act like an where he was like better than you or anything like that. Like never asked more of you, or
Right.
you know what I mean? He was just a genuine person. Like he
Yeah.
was a friendly guy, like just very personable too.
Just kind of always had your best interest in things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And he was like that way with everyone. His techs, the other service writers I worked with, like he was just an awesome, awesome guy to work for.
What did he say when you told him you were leaving?
He was like, he supported the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And like, I was like super cool about it too. I was like, it was the beginning of December and I wanted to start off fresh January 1st. And I was like, hey man, I'm going to give you a month notice. Like,
That's a good notice.
yeah.
It's very extensive.
And like, I worked my ass off for that month.
Yeah.
Like I held them out the best I could. I handled all the stuff I had to handle and everything like that. And they were fine. And like, honestly, Corona was just about to hit. So if anything, I probably would have been laid off.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
So, because 2 writers over there, I think, got laid off once Corona hit. And that was only like a month and a half after.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what I think, that COVID's opened a lot of people's eyes in really good ways, because it really shows that maybe your life's not as secure as you initially thought. Because just
Yeah.
like that, like, goodbye. Like,
Goodbye.
tons
Dude,
of
it
people
was.
didn't have jobs. Tons of them.
Dude, it was insane. It really, like, I was thankful to actually, like, start my own thing then. And, like,
Yeah.
at the time, it was, like, a perfect storm, too. Because, like, at that time, I wasn't getting zoned for anything. No one was coming out to do a fire inspection or
Right.
anything like that. So it was pretty much, like, do what you can do. Here
Yeah,
you go. Like, and it all worked out. It ended up working out, so.
That, and then on the other end, we're in a once in 100-year health event, let's say. So maybe a lot of people, unfortunately, left with a whole lot of what ifs, you know?
Yeah.
Like, me personally, I would much rather try something and fail and say, all right, you know what? I gave it my best effort. Effort was there. I tried. That whole spiel, as opposed to sitting there thinking every single day, what if? What if I had to open my own shop?
And
What if I had
that's
done
That's
this?
what hit me, man. Like, that's what, like, really started, like, to not sit easy with me. I'm like, why can't I do it?
Yeah.
I'm like, why can't I do it? I'm like, I'm completely confident in my work. Like, it's like, why can't I do it? Like, what makes this person better than me? And then, like, I'll drive down, like, where I live, like Providence and everything like that. And
Yeah.
I'll see, like, these, like, ratty shops, like, just doing it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, just doing tires alone, like, with
Yeah.
grease
Yeah,
all
right.
over the walls
Yeah.
and stuff. And I'm like, if you can do it, I can do it. Like,
Exactly.
why can't I do it?
Yeah.
Like, so I just started thinking like that, and I'm like, fuck all this planning. Like, just do it. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
know shit about business, man. Trust me, I'm a mechanic. Like, I was a technician forever. Like, I didn't know my ass from my elbow, but I was like, I'll learn it as I go.
Yeah. That's
Like,
a good
whatever.
mindset to have. That's, yeah.
Everyone needs to have that mindset, man. Like, what is the worst that's gonna happen?
Yeah, exactly.
The only thing that's worse that's gonna happen is you're gonna be pissed off you didn't try.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, like, you don't want to be sitting there and regret. And like, I rather fail than regret.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't know.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just is what it is. Like, grab the bull by the horns and ride it. Like I
Yeah.
said, man. Like, there's nothing bad that could really happen.
Do you have any other great horror stories?
Oh my
That first one really interested me.
Oh, dude, do I? I guess I could do one from Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. That was a fun one. There was this red 1500. I forget what year it was. I think it was like an 04. It was a problem that I was having with the cam sensor, and like every so often you'd be driving this car, right, and out of nowhere, boom, 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 like it would just hesitate like a on you and like send you up and down. And I'm like, what the hell? And it kept like throwing this cam sensor code
Yeah.
in the engine. So I tried literally everything with this car. Like, I checked the cam sensor, everything was fine. There was no reason to replace it at all. Checked engine timing, took the whole engine apart to check it. Like, it was all timed and everything correctly. Checked literally everything I could check to see what was wrong with this car, and everything wasn't acting up. And it was such an intermittent problem too. It was only happening like once in a while. So I ended up hooking a lab scope up to the cam sensor, and I went on the signal wire. Lab scope is basically, it gives you like a wavelength signal of the,
Okay.
and it shows you like the signal that it's sending to the engine's computer,
Right.
in simplest terms. And it shows you it in real time.
Yeah.
So I was looking at it, I was driving the car, and then I could see it, and then boom, it glitched out. It would
Yeah.
go all over the place, and then it would happen. And I'm like, all right, so maybe there's a break in the wire, like from the sensor to the camshaft. I mean, to the sensor to the engine's computer.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me try overlaying a wire. So what I was essentially doing was temporarily putting a wire in there to the computer, knowing that that wire has continuity from end to end.
Yeah.
So it's a good wire.
Right.
Same thing.
Wow.
I'm like, bruh. And I ended up talking to like probably the best Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram technician I've ever met. His name's Kevin. I ended up talking to him about the car, and he was like super cool with me, and like he tried to help me out with it, and even he's like, bro, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell, man? I was just like exhausted. Like I was like
Just frustrated.
Yeah, I had nowhere else to go. I'm like, it's timed. The sensor's right. Like everything's fine, but it still keeps glitching out signals. So I started checking grounds for the computer, powers to the computer. All was fine. And I was like, what the hell, man? So I ended up like doing a full system scan on the truck, like seeing if there was any codes in any other modules that might give me a clue.
Right.
I had a automatic transmission pressure sensor code, circuit performance. I was like, oh, that's not a big deal, but let me just check it out. So I put the car in the air, and I'm checking out the pressure sensor, and I look up, and I can see like a frayed harness, like on like a shifting rod. And I'm like, what the hell? And I pull it down, and I peel it back, and there's two wires spliced together. I go back to the wiring diagram. One of them's on what we call a 5-volt reference circuit, and it's a very important signal circuit. It was shorted to one of those wires.
Really?
So every single time that those wires shorted together, it dropped out my cam signal.
Wow.
It was a 10-minute repair.
Have you ever seen that before? Since?
Nope.
Really?
Nope. There was one more other crazy story that's kind of like that. But yeah, I fixed the wires, spliced them back, soldered them together. See ya.
That's insane.
I had this engine apart.
That's crazy.
I could not figure out what was wrong with this car.
That's wild.
So like it just got me thinking. I was like, how could I like have found that faster?
Yeah.
Like how could I have found that faster? I was like, okay, maybe start with a full system scan and like look in other modules just in case or something like that.
Right.
So just in my mind, so I wouldn't like get burnt with that again. And even Kevin was like, dude, that's a crazy one.
Yeah.
He's like, that's a new one on me.
What was the other crazy story similar to that?
All right, so that was a Toyota FJ Cruiser.
Okay.
You know those cars? They're pretty funky looking. They're kind of like they're like a Hummer for Toyota.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Kinda.
Yeah.
And it came in. It was a crank no start. So crank no starts. We have a saying. It's either doesn't have fuel or doesn't have spark.
Yeah.
So you need those two to start, and you need compression too. But so we checked it for fuel, and no fuel was getting to it.
Right.
So at the time, I was actually a shop foreman at an independent shop, and this kid was like gonna do the fuel pump job, and I was like, hey, before you take that fuel pump out, make sure you got power and ground going to that fuel pump. Long story short, he gets it down, no power going to it. So we start tracing the power back and everything. There's no power like coming out of the engine's computer. And then I made an observation because like I wasn't the one working on this car, it was the other technician.
Right.
When you turn the key on, I noticed that the check engine light didn't illuminate.
Okay.
Huge red flag.
Yeah.
That means the computer's not turning on.
Gotcha.
It's never going to send fuel if it doesn't turn on.
Right.
The problem with this was the computer had all the powers and all the grounds it needed to turn on. So, and I was like, this is really weird. I mean, this technically means like it needs a computer.
Yeah.
Like, which is, anyone that works on cars right now will know PCMs usually don't fix the car.
Yeah.
Engine computers 9 out of 10 times do not fix the car. It is like something you throw at it like, maybe this will fix it. Fuck it.
Last ditch effort. Yeah.
Yeah. Like unless you 100% know a computer is bad and it's not like sending out a signal or something like that, like they're usually not bad. But
yeah.
I've seen it hundreds of times. Like, yeah, we put a computer in it, didn't fix it. Can't fix it. So instantly I was thinking, I was like, yo, there's no way this needs a fucking computer. Cause like Toyotas are great cars. They don't mess up like that.
Yeah.
They just don't like. So ended up putting a computer in it anyways. Yeah. Guess what?
Yeah.
Didn't fix it.
Yeah.
So I was like, shit, man, like what do I do? Like, and then I was reading some things online, just doing more research into it, and they were like, make sure all your 5-volt references are there. That can also pull down the computer.
Okay.
That was news to me. That was actually the first time I learned that. And I was like, all right, so let me check all the 5-volt references. It had all the 5 volts except for one. One was at like 1.8 volts. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, no shit, that's got to be it. So I went to the wiring diagram and I looked at all the components on the 5-volt reference, like wiring diagram. It was like a purge solenoid, the alternator, some cam sensors. So my method was to unplug all of these components one by one and wait till I see that check engine light illuminate again. I unplug a power steering pressure switch, which is this little dinky switch on a power steering hose. I unplugged it, everything came back to life.
Really?
And like a $995 sensor.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So we replaced the power steering pressure switch, car ran.
That was it.
That was it.
Oh my God.
Couldn't believe it.
That's insane. It was
Nuts.
that easy.
Nuts. I mean, that easy, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, it was crazy. I was like, holy shit, man, like that's insane.
And how much time did you spend on that? A few days?
That car was there for like 4 or 5 days.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
When you tell these guys these story, when you give them their car back, are they just completely blown away that it was that simple of a fix?
Most of them like get it. Like if you
Yeah.
explain yourself thoroughly and you're like honest, like honesty is the key in automotive. If you're honest, like that's it. Like
Right.
people are coming back to you. Usually if you mess up too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you were honest about it. Like you owned up to your mistake. You took care of it. And that's that. So I was just honest with him. Like he was like, the shop owner was like, yo, Nick, you want to explain what happened to his
Yeah.
car? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. The guy was super cool with it. He was just super stoked that like it was even ended up being cheaper for him.
Right.
Because it was a $10 sensor compared to a $800 fuel pump unit.
Right.
You know? So it all worked out in the end and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about when you were starting the business. You said your stepdad was very supportive. Obviously, he sounds like he's been a very big driver behind
Hell
this.
yeah.
What about like the rest of your family and friends? Were they more like, I don't know if I'd leave that job, or were they more in your corner and supportive? Because starting a business is a big deal because you see a lot of startups fail, and a lot of people are not willing to take that leap of faith and put themselves in the position that you put yourself in. So
Yeah.
where did kind of your, I guess, team, your friends, family stand on this?
Obviously stepdad was super supportive of it.
Right.
He was the one that like got my foot in the door anyways, you know what I mean? So he was fine. Everyone else was like cool with it. They didn't like, I mean, I don't really I don't like ask for permission, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've never been that kind of guy at all. I'm more like just do it.
Yeah.
Like I just do shit. Like so that was it. And then it's more so if I fail, I fail. If I don't, then I don't. So they weren't like I didn't really ask anyone. I gave a couple opinions. Like I asked Nick about it, and Nick was like, "Bro, all day, like,
He's like, I'll
he
fund
like,
it."
No, dude, he hyped me up. He hyped me up so bad. If anything, he made me feel so much more confident about it, and I was just like, "Whew." So it was good. Like it wasn't. I was scared to do it, but like I wasn't scared at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's a big step, and like you start to think about shit like the type of things that start running through your head is like I don't know. It's just very imposterish.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like
Yes.
imposter syndrome. I actually had to like Google that and figure out what that meant because I vented to Nick. I was like, yo, why am I feeling like this type of way and everything, even though it's fine and everything. And he was like, that's this. And then I looked it up and I was like, holy shit.
That just like naturally happens.
Yeah.
It's
So like it just naturally happens. So like, I don't know. It's been a journey, man. Like identifying a lot of the stuff that you're feeling is like probably the most important thing as a business owner
I agree completely.
because that can consume you quick.
Yeah.
Like I watched a few business owners go through it, like just totally eat them up, like
Yeah.
and just like consume them. And like I made a vow to myself, like I would not let that happen.
Yeah.
Like if I'm feeling like super stressed or like I'm gonna pop or something like that, I'm out the door.
Yeah.
Like I'm leaving. Like that's I take my time. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't beat a dead horse.
The crazy thing is a lot of people won't realize it and they won't dig into it. They won't say, why do I feel this way? Why is this an issue? They just either push through or they just accept it and just get, like you said, consumed by it, which is
Yeah.
crazy to think about.
You know, it is. And like I think I'm blessed because I'm a technician. I could never think that way.
Yeah.
Like I'm such a question. Like I ask questions. Like in my head, like I always want to know the answer to things.
Yeah.
Constantly. Like it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
But that's just like I don't know. That's just my mindset. That's just how I am. Like I just always want to know. So especially when I feel like there's something off with me, like I really want to know the answer.
Yeah.
Like I really want to know the answer to that. So I just just search and figure stuff out as you go and identify with it, accept it. Not accept it to the point where like this is bad for me, like and I accept it, but like accept it to the point where like this is okay.
Yeah, and the reasoning behind it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, like having a lot of self-searching like that.
Yeah. Do you think since you've started your own business, you've been more apt to do things like that and do more research on like yourself and things like that?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I've been able to focus on myself a lot. I mean, I say that, but at the same time, like I've been slacking on like the gym and stuff. Like I was so much more into the gym when I was like working a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Like I had like a whole routine down.
Yeah.
Monday through Friday, like this time, eat this, eat that. Like now I'm like all over the place.
Yeah.
So
That's the one thing, like when you become a business owner, it seems like you're doing something you love, but at the same time, you're always thinking about it.
Always.
Like when you leave at 5, do you stop thinking about like those projects you're working on? Do you stop thinking about the business? Yeah.
Unless I'm like trying to like diag a problem or something like that, like that'll follow me to my sleep.
Yeah.
Like if I can't like figure out something, I'll spend like every moment I'm not occupied thinking about something else, thinking about that car. Like, damn, could it be that? I'm like, no, that has voltage there. That can't be that. Like, you know what I mean? Like just rattling off in my own head. Like it's just how it goes.
I think that kind of separates if the entrepreneur life is for you, because it's not for a lot of people, and I understand why. But some people, they don't like that. They need to turn off. And then there's some people I feel like just need to keep going and need that like passion, that challenge, that type of thing. You know what I mean?
I mean, dude, I'm honestly like a perfect hybrid, man. I can turn it off. Like, and I find things to like help me turn it off. Like I do a lot of snowboarding. I golf a lot. I play darts on Tuesday nights.
Do you
like,
really?
Yeah, in a dart league, bro. It's like a little nerd fact about me.
Yeah.
Like I do like, honestly, it sounds so stupid, dude, but PlayStation is great.
Really?
Like if you ever want like a perfect like escape for an hour, just play video games. Like I guarantee you won't think about anything else.
Really?
And it's almost like nice and therapeutic in a way.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing Call of Duty, then it'll piss you the hell off. But
What I've found is I've been taking jujitsu lessons.
Yep.
And I found that that's actually really good. And I was talking to the guy that's giving me the lessons the other day, and he had some stuff going on, and he's like, this is really good because you have to focus on what's in front of you. Because if you don't, you're going to be choked out.
Yeah.
You're going to be dead.
Oh, yeah, no, you know.
Yeah, so
complete
I
concentration.
I love doing that. That really helps me turn my brain off.
Yeah, no,
So,
that's awesome, man.
yeah.
I wish I had the time to do jiu-jitsu.
That's the thing.
Like, it's so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, I started off, I knew he gave lessons, and I was thinking, I kind of want another challenge, and nothing's wrong with learning self-defense.
No,
you know what
absolutely
I mean? By
not.
any means at all.
Yeah.
Like, if some guy, like, were to come at me, it'd be nice to know I can defend myself.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, jiu-jitsu and, a bar fight are different things, because, like I was talking about with my friend, if I'm wrestling some guy on the ground and his boy's like, oh, he's in trouble, let me go stomp on this guy's neck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not going to stand there and, like, count off, like, all right, tap out.
Yeah,
like,
tap
he's not
out.
gonna
No,
do that.
none of that.
Yeah. But let's talk about, to finish up, kind of your day-to-day structure. Talk to me about a normal day that you have at the office. Like, what time you get there, how late you stay, what dictates what needs attention in the business, on your projects. Like, walk me through a regular day in the life of Nicky F.
All right, so normal day, wake up around like 6:30, 7-ish a.m., do the coffee, the breakfast, that whole thing. I usually get there around 8:30, 9. I open at 9.
Yeah.
And then it's whatever appointment I usually have. Like I said, I schedule people accordingly.
Right.
So that day I might look at there, I have X amount of appointments. I usually only do like, if it's an oil change, I have them come first thing in the morning, unless they literally can't. I'll do that. I try to, if I have 2 cars there that need diag, I'll diag them both. I'll do those multi-points I told you about on both of them.
Right.
And then send them.
Gotcha.
Like send them to the customers. So I get everything diag first thing in the morning. Depending on what it needs, like it could need to stay overnight. If I can get it done same day, I get it done same day. But so I'll work on that. 12:30, 1 Chipotle time.
Every day?
Gotta get it, baby.
Every day.
I love Chipotle. Chipotle diet, man. Oh, it's so not financially smart, but we love it.
Love it.
Then the day usually ends mostly when I finish up. Like I'm a big stopping point guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't like stopping in like the middle of a job if it's not like an actual stopping point. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I usually have to complete something, and then towards the end of the day, whenever I get to that completion of whatever that may be, I'll clean up my area, tools, all that. I'm super OCD with my tools and where everything is. Like I want everything to be there when I go to grab it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every day. I hate like coming in the next day and seeing my tools everywhere. I'm like, why didn't I clean, you lazy bastard? Then I go home, unless I golf or do one of the extracurricular activities that I do. And that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Has there ever really been a point where you've had to stay like later than you want to, and
Oh,
you've just
hell
been
yeah,
there
man.
like for ridiculous ends of time working on something?
Oh, absolutely. When I first opened, I was there. I did a cylinder head job. I left there at like 1 a.m.
Oh my God.
I've done. I loved it, man. I was
Really?
jamming out, dude.
Oh my God, that's
Blast my
crazy.
music. Yeah, man, it's awesome. It's a good time. Call up some friends. Maybe they stop by and hang out with me for a little bit or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all the time, late nights. That's such a common thing. I was doing that since I was like 18. Like I said, when I had side job clientele, I'd work a full day, and that was 8 to 5:30, usually
Right.
8 to 6.
Yeah.
And then I would stay to like 11 doing a side job after work. And that went on for years, man.
Really?
Years and years and years. I was always trying to work on cars when I was younger. Like
Yeah.
all I wanted to do. Like you ask any of my friends, I wasn't a big partier.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't a big drinker or anything like that. Like I was always at my stepdad's shop. Like that's
Crazy.
where I wanted to be. I wanted to learn how to weld. I went on YouTube to like learn shit that I didn't know, like how a relay works, just random shit all
Yeah.
over the place. I just wanted to know it. And yeah, so
That's insane. Well, Nick, you've got a great story.
Thanks,
I think
man.
it's awesome that you've been able to follow your passion and turn this into a full-time thing. Where can people find out more about you, or if they want to have their car worked on by you or anything else?
you can visit Foreign and Domestic Autoworks on Google. And my number's on there if you want to get in touch with me for service. I do have Instagram. I don't use it a lot, more so for personal. It is Ferraro 401 though, if you want to give a follow. Yeah.
Nick, thanks again for doing this. I really appreciate it. All of
man.
Nick's stuff will be linked down below in the description. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.